Hello there, Master Hellish here, and welcome to another OpenTTD challenge. Today we'll be doing a challenge, and I will outline what the challenge is, tell you how you can take part, and then have a go at it myself. Now today the challenge is an OpenTTD speedrun. That's right, there are speedruns of OpenTTD, if you didn't already know. The run I have chosen is the first, the quickest time to get to £1 million in the game. And that is without doing any fast forwarding and with default settings. And I've chosen the Toyland climate. Now, the reason why I chose this is because there's not many submissions for that particular category. So I thought as a community, it'd be nice for us all to have a go at it. Right, so that's what it is. £1 million in OpenTTD Toyland. How do you take part? Well, first of all, you need to read all of the general rules on speedrun.com so you know what you can and can't do. And then you need to read the category rules for the OpenTTD challenge on that website too, so you know what you can do. And there's a link to that in the video description. Then, once you know all the rules, you need to make sure you're on the latest version of OpenTTD, that you are having no GRFs installed and active, you have no scripts active, and you've got all of your settings set to default. Now there's two ways you can do this. You can either go into the settings window and click the button at the bottom that resets everything back to default, or you could go into your folder, which for most people is in your My Documents folder, your OpenTTD folder, and rename that folder. When you rename that folder and you start OpenTTD, OpenTTD doesn't find the folder and creates a brand new one with default settings. Then you can play OpenTTD in the default settings, and once you've finished, you can just rename the folder back again and restore all your previous settings. Okay, so you've got the OpenTTD set up, ready to roll. How do you then go ahead with it? Well, you need to play the game and record it. So you can use something like OBS to do that if you want. And then you ideally need a timer. I used Live Split. It worked okay for me. It doesn't currently, at the time of recording, work automatically with OpenTTD. You have to start and stop it with keyboard shortcuts, and that's what I did. And then you can submit it. Once you've done your run and made your £1 million and got your time, you can submit it. Now, it's important that you do so one of two ways. Either you can go to the official place, to speedrun.com, and submit it through the form on the site, which is what I did. Or, if you don't want to submit it officially on speedrun.com, but want to share it with my community, come over to my Discord and share it in the OpenTTD channel, where I'm sure a few people will take a look at what you did. Well, that's the challenge and how to take part. It's time for me to have a go. Now, I decided to have 4 attempts at this. Why 4? Well, that was the number of recording sessions I had available until I needed to edit this video you're watching now. So I was limited on those attempts. And each one I did was faster than the last. I learnt things along the way, improved my technique, and the 4th and final attempt was my fastest time. And that is what I'm going to show you. Now, my time, I know a lot about OpenTTD, but I am definitely no speedrunner. In fact, this is my first time trying to speedrun anything in my life. So I'm not expecting to do great, but it'd be nice to at least be somewhere on that board, just so my name's on there. So I'm not expecting to come first, but I am going to try and see what happens. Right, well, with that in mind, let's go and have a look at my 4th and final attempt and see how well I did in this challenge. Okay, so here we go. We're starting the game, and you can see the first thing I'm doing here is checking the map. I'm looking for bubble generators. The cargo payment rates for bubbles is really quite good, and the output of the fizzy drinks factory that they go to is also very good. So that's what I decided to work with here. You may have noticed I'm speaking in the past tense, and that's because it's me. Hello, I'm live. Well, not live, but this is me watching the video back with you. There's 2 reasons for this. First of all, I wanted to concentrate what I was doing at the time and not actually have to talk to you guys and do that at the same time, because that takes more cognitive effort. And also because I wanted to have a clean recording without a webcam covering up part of the screen in case somebody thought that there was going to be a problem or I was hiding something or anything like that. So if you actually want to look at the raw recording, it is available, and the link to that is in the description of this video. So you can see what I've done here is I've got my two stations in. One collecting bubbles from two bubble generators with a spread station, and one where it's going to be going to. You may also notice that I'm telling the train to go to the station, and then when it's finished, go to the depot. And the reason for that is that you only make money on one journey, on the way there. But I don't want to have the trains come back again and not make money. So what did I do? Well, we're going to sell the trains when they get to the other end and just generate more at the starting location. Now here you can see I'm building the track, and this is another advantage of selling the trains at the other end. I'm building a single track line. It's going to cost half as much to build my track. Every little bit to save money and work out ways of improving I've tried to do. Now also my train has two engines on it. These Toyland trains are, well, terrible. And if they were going over these hills as a single engine train, I don't think they would cope very well. So we have two bubble things that are close enough together for me to get in one catchment. We have a train with two engines on, loading at the station, and noticed I got it out of the depot very quickly and got it loading before even building the track. And it's going to go down a single track line, and when it gets to the other end, I'll sell it in the depot. This was my strategy, and when I was generating the maps, trying to find one that I wanted to play with, I was looking for a map with a few different bubble generators and also somewhere where I can go diagonally. Now I've done that here, and when I say diagonally, I'm not talking about diagonal on your screen. I'm talking about diagonal with respect to the grid squares on the screen. So you see, I've mostly gone from towards the bottom of the map towards the top of the map. And the reason for that is you get a good little bonus when you go that kind of diagonal distance, because the train's distance is measured by the game in Manhattan distance, so along the grid lines. So by traversing that diagonal, you do a shorter distance and get there quicker and you get more money. Right, what am I doing now? Well, now I'm doing the train to come back the other way. So we're taking bubbles to the cola factory. Now we need to get the fizzy drinks back to somewhere, and I'm looking for somewhere to take them. You need a nice big city, because in one of my runs I didn't have a city. I had a city that was big enough and it actually qualified to accept the fizzy drinks, but unfortunately they deleted a house and moved it or something like that, and then halfway through the run it stopped accepting the fizzy drinks. So a nice big town down there, and once again I'm going diagonal across the map from near the very top down to the very bottom. Whether going the very top, very bottom is a good idea or not, I'm not sure. I feel like few long lines is probably better than lots of short lines, because you'd have to pay more for stations and things like that. I'm not sure. You can see here also I'm building bridges over the water. Normally for those little rivers I would probably just delete the river and put the track over it. But here we're saving as much money as possible. Now, you saw me see that train. I'm going, oh no, I need that train. So we clone the train and set it on its way. The next train will go into the station, load up, and follow up behind it. We do have signals on the line to break it into blocks so that we can get multiple trains going down the block at the same time. And now here is part of my strategy. I have the depot for the destination open on the screen, pinned, and also a viewport. I think this is the first time. No, it's not the first time I've used viewports, but it is a good use for viewports. So I've got a couple of viewports here, and I'm pinning them to the screen so that when I'm doing things, I can hit that delete key, everything disappears apart from these depots and viewports, and that will allow me to keep an eye on when I need new trains. So you can see here I've got one of my trains, it's 100%, it's just leaving the station, and in theory I should be able to see that and then realise I need to get a new train in. And I can click the change main view and it will send me straight to where it needs to be, clone the train and hit that delete key, and I can carry on with whatever I'm doing. So this is the strategy. Long distances, diagonal distances, only one way, buying the train at one end, selling the train at the other end, double engine trains. Working with bubbles and cola. So that's what I'm bubbles and cola to make the fizzy drinks. Now at the moment we've only got bubbles and we're bringing the fizzy drinks in, but later on I do incorporate other things as well. So how long have I got? Let me just go over to my other screen and take a look. If I go to speedrun.com, yep, there it is. We go to the £1 million category. We go to the no fast forward with default settings for Toyland. And I can see that the first place person is currently 24 minutes, 15 seconds and a few milliseconds. So that's the time I want to be if I want to come first. But then there's also second place, which is 26 minutes, 33 seconds. And then we've got third place as 33 minutes and fourth place as 1 hour and 13 minutes. So they're the benchmarks I've got to hit to get into those positions. Now here we go, I got a little problem here. I actually needed to get rid of a building to try and place in a depot there. If I was more clever, I would have moved the station further out, maybe done a spread station to get better catchment, and then I'd be alright to get what I need. But you can see here I'm selecting the depot, I click on the drop down and choose stop. That makes the train go into the depot and just stop there. Using that change main view button to go back to where I needed to buy a train, buy the train, press the delete key. Oh, in that case I didn't press the delete key. I just pressed the X's there. Now, note these trains don't need to have shared orders because, well, they're not going to hang around for long. I'm just cloning them without shared orders. It doesn't matter. There we go. So there's the destination depot in for the second line. The first and second line are now all done, and I'm going back to the minimap because that was my plan. Now I need to get part 2 of my plan. So the part 1, double fizzy drinks, double bubbles, take it up, turn it into fizzy drinks, bring it back down again. Now I've found somewhere else that I think is interesting. Here I've noticed that I can get some cola wells and a bubble factory in the same catchment. Obviously we want to fill these trains up as quickly as possible. You don't want loads of trains sat around your world waiting to load, because trains cost money and trains that aren't delivering are not getting you income. So a little bit of a slowdown for trains going up and down and using wiggles and things like that, I'm not too bothered about that. Really, you need to fill up your trains quick and get them moving. So here I am buying once again a double engined train, but this time I'm going to be adding bubble cars and cola tankers. So what I need to do is check the 2 different industries here, and you can see one of them is producing 144 units a month and one is producing 90 units a month. And in that way I need to then distribute the number of carriages for the different ones so that the ratio is about right. I don't want to be full on bubbles and only have like one wagon full of cola. That would be inefficient. So here I'm just spending a bit of time trying to figure that out. Now later I do realise that I didn't quite get it right, and I did then go back and do some tweaking. But here we go. That train is out, and importantly again, the train is out before I finish building the line. Get it loading while you're building. Now here I hit a city and go, oh no, there's no room, oh no, what am I going to do? Well, it doesn't matter, we just put a little kink in, don't we? So we'll just move the other line across out of the way and then make room for the line that we do want. Now obviously I don't want to do this sort of thing too much, because I don't want to damage a line by accidentally leaving a piece of track or putting a signal the wrong way around. In one of my runs I had a piece of track missing on a corner after I changed something, and that was just disastrous because I didn't realise until later on that I had a line just full of trains. Now whilst this is potentially good, they're all sat there ready to unload, obviously give money, and then I can sell the trains. It's just bad because you get a big line full of trains that aren't making money properly. They need to be gone, you need to get new trains, and you need to be shifting the produce. Now here I decided to use the existing line going up north. I thought the trains coming from these 2 stations aren't going to be too busy enough to saturate that line. That's a little bit of a gamble. Obviously the gamble on the plus side means I have to spend less time building and I don't have to pay for more track. The downside is that, well, that line could get quite busy, that could slow down the throughput, and that could also then mean that I'm not getting as much money coming in. But here we go, I've decided to use that piece of line. It's probably going to be fine for 2 stations. There we go. Now I realise I haven't got my signals on the line, so I pop the signals on and my second train comes out. Now I need to get my viewport so that I can see when that particular station needs a train. and then we'll also need to get the depot up. Now here you can see on the left hand side I'm selling my trains because I need to sell them to get the money back to buy more track, more trains, to get more stuff. Here again I'm doing exactly the same thing. I'm thinking I'm going up there, I came down there, I'm looking for an opportunity to get something where there's multiple things going, and I think I spot something, but then I realise that it's a bubble factory and it's the cola factory, and I was like, no, hang on a minute, I don't want those fizzy drinks factories. I've already chosen one that I'm taking everything to. I don't need that. So again, jumping down here, using the delete key to get rid of the windows, and then I realised I didn't actually pin this viewport. So I'd spend some extra time going across to that viewport, recreating it, pinning it, making sure it was somewhere. And what I did is I put it next to viewport 1, because viewport 1 and viewport 3, the trains will both be going to the depot that's on that row. So that was my logic there. Then I realised that we've got these two bubble farm things, and I could probably spread station between both of them. So I just working out exactly where I needed to be there, and then coming in nice and close to make sure that I get the coverage on the other one and connect it up to the other station. Holding control when I place it to do that spread station. Getting in the depot, and we need the train. Get the train loading. So, going to clone an existing train because again, there's no cola here, it's just bubbles, so I can clone one of the previous bubble trains. And then I'm going to adjust the orders. So we delete the first order, we say full load here, and of course you click holding control to get that full load order. The train's on its way out. And this is the first time I run out of money after upping the loan, I think. But it's okay, because at this point we've got trains entering depots. So as soon as I kind of need more for more trains, I can get rid of the ones in the depots, and then I should be okay with money. There wasn't really any point in time that I couldn't do something I wanted to because I didn't have enough money, so that's really good. Here I'm putting in another platform because I don't want to saturate that line too much. I want to give this one a dedicated line. So cargo flow legend is not what we need right now. We need the extra viewport. There's the viewport for this one. This one's going on a new row. Make sure it's pinned and we can see the front of the train there. Front of the train's important because that's where it shows you the percent loading. And if you can see that it's getting close to 100% and you have time, you can go and create the next train ready before the other one's gone. That way, as soon as one train's out, the next train comes in and jobs are good. There we go. So now it's really starting to get busy, and I'm having to pay close attention to what I've built already, as well as trying to go back and building what I was on before. I still haven't connected up that line, I don't think. Yeah, there we go. This new line still hasn't been connected up, but we've got the end goal. There's the depot, and we'll just pin that there next to the viewport 4. Right, we need another train over here as well now. These goods trains start to get quicker and quicker and quicker. These ones actually are making a good deal amount of money. They're not goods, it's fizzy drinks, but it's coming out of the factory. And with all of these cola and fizzy drinks all going into the one thing, then the production is all coming out on one platform there. So that viewport 2 is getting very busy. Now this line isn't a diagonal. At this point I kind of did most of the diagonals already. There wasn't really many good options. So most of this line is just a straight line to its destination. But to be honest, that's better than not having a line in at all. And also there were 2 bubble generators in the same place. So that's a good thing as well. So get the line in, get the signals in. You can see the train's pretty much ready to leave, and it all looks good up here. Checking to make sure that the signals that I just dragged along the track are present at the end of the track. Because if they're present at the end of the track, it means I haven't accidentally put a junction in or I haven't missed a piece of track. Jobs are good. Now in this one, you may notice that I didn't bother putting any depots along the line. And that's because even though breakdowns are turned on by default, you don't need to worry about them too much because each train is brand new. It's only just come out of its depot, picked up its first load and going on its way. And most of the time there's a good number of items waiting at the station for it to pick up, so it's not sat there that long. So you've got a fresh train coming out, going down the line. There's quite a low chance that it's actually going to break. So you don't need the depots. Now, trying to keep up with things here as well as looking at what the next steps are. And you can see that there was our first train leaving our... No, that's not the new station. Again here, I need the money, but I sell a train and I'm able to make a new train again. So right on the edge of building as much as possible here at the moment. If I was building any faster, any more lines or any more stations than that, I would be running out of money even more so. So again, ran out of money, but there's a train I can quickly sell. Right on the cusp here I was pushing myself. If I, like I said, if I was building any quicker, I don't think I would have done it. So the train that came from the bottom here made 33,000 per trip. The fizzy drinks trains were making a good deal more than that on the way, I think, as well. They were travelling a little further, I think, and also you get more for fizzy drinks than you do for bubble or cola. And then we're in this kind of stage now where I'm starting to think, okay, when do I finish? I'm looking at my company value. I'm looking at the amount of trains I have. I'm thinking about how much money I get from selling a train. How much does a train cost? How much money can I sell a train for? How much value have I got in the trains that I need to sell? How many trains have I got? So I think at this point I had around 14 trains currently active on the network at any one time. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, 14 times this times that means that in theory I'm going to have so many 100,000 worth of trains to sell. So the idea is at a certain point you stop buying new trains, you allow all the existing trains to go down the lines to their destination, sell them when they get there and sell the track behind them as they go, and hopefully if you time it just right you delete all of the track and sell all of the trains nice and quickly, and you've got your million. Now also you have to pay your loan off. That is a big chunk of money. So you're not really generating a million, you're kind of generating 1,300,000. But here you can see I'm paying a good chunk of the loan off. The interest rate isn't that bad, but if you can pay it off, get it paid off so that you can then start seeing how much money you've got. Again, more trains being put down on the track, and here this is me going back and going, oh look, we're full of bubbles, but we're not full of cola. So we need to adjust this. Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, we definitely need to adjust that. So have a quick look at some of the other stations, realise we're going to need a train over here, pop that train in, and then I think I go back down again to sort that train out. There we go. So things are running smoothly now, checking the amount of money, paying off the loan as I can, and then going on and continuing with things. Now there is a little bit of a slowdown there. We had a train waiting outside of a station because there was a train in front of it. That's going to happen when the trains are waiting in front of each other because they're sharing a line. But I think it didn't happen very much. It was worth sharing that line as a time saver and construction saver. So here I am now adjusting this. If I'd have got this right from the very beginning, we might have made a little bit more money, because not only are we delivering more stuff for the particular journey and getting more money out of the journey, but also that means that we're producing more fizzy drinks when we send in a train, because the train's full of more useful resources. So this next train has a better split across the two. There you see we've got extra bubble cars on it. Right then, so at this point I'm starting to think, okay, things are going quite well. I've built everything that I want to build. I just need to make sure that it continues to run smoothly, that I pay that loan off, and I get the right moment in time to stop making new trains and then start deleting stuff to get my money back. You can see I've got quite a few trains hanging around in the depot there, but that's not that important. It's more important to get the new trains out so that they can get on the line and make you that money. And it's at this point that I start going, oh, right, okay, that train's nearly 100%. I'm going to get a new one ready. Okay, because when a train's in a depot, yes, it does cost you money, but having that train there, ready to roll, ready to pick up the resources, it just felt like I needed it. So there we go, the loan is now repaid and it is ready and time to go on to getting the next thing. So we're just continuing to cycle around these stations, making sure that we've got trains all the time coming. So at this point I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking, well, I know how fast the first place person was. and I can see how quickly my bank balance is going up. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I'm not getting first here. I'm not going to win. I'm not going to come out on front. But how far can I go? I could be wrong at this point. It could increase. The amount of money could escalate and increase and come in quite quickly, or it might be a slower burn than I was expecting, because it's quite difficult to judge it. Also, I wasn't paying any attention to the operating profit graph. I was just glancing down at the bank balance. It's also at this time that I start thinking, okay, how much money do I get for selling a train? How much money does a train make? If I've got 3 or 4 trains coming down the line and they're all making, I don't know, 40 or 60 grand, and then I sell them for 33 grand, then I'm getting nearly 90, 100 grand per train, and I've got 4 trains on the way. Something along those lines. I mean, those aren't the numbers, but it's that sort of logic that I'm doing. Because I want to be able to get rid of all of these trains as quickly as possible. Because, of course, it's all about the time. So we're starting to get a good bit of money in the bank, but I don't know if it's time to start pulling that switch yet. I'm still getting new trains out, selling them off, looking at the amount of money that I'm getting for those trains, and thinking, do I do it yet? When do I pull this trigger? If I pull it too early, I can sell absolutely everything and be short of my £1,000,000. If I pull the trigger too late, it will take me longer to earn the £1,000,000 because, well, I could have earned it previously. I could have got there beforehand by selling more stuff quicker. It's a bit of a balance. It's an interesting technique, and selling up your network, I think, is probably realistically the only way to get across and have a chance of beating some of these records. It might be that some of the records that, for example, took an hour and 13 minutes are people that did it without selling assets. Also, I'm sending trains in one direction and then selling them on the other end. Perhaps it may work if you do a really good passenger and mail network. Maybe you could get stuff from one end, take it down to the other, and back again. The advantages of that... here we go. Right. I just pulled the trigger. I just decided I am buying no more trains. This is it. This is the final now. Am I going to get the money coming in quick enough to be able to get there and, get a good score time-wise? Or are we going to overrun, waiting for all these trains to get to their destination? Have I pulled the trigger too early? Are we going to not have enough money? Is it going to be too late? But I'm selling the trains that are coming in and not buying any new ones. You can see all of those viewports are empty. I am leaving the viewports there at the moment, though, because it allows me to jump around the map to the various different places that I've been working within. And I'm going up behind those vehicles and I'm getting rid of the track. Now, the track here is not worth a massive amount of money. But if I wasn't getting rid of the track, I'd just be sat there doing nothing, waiting for these trains to get to their destination and then selling them. So selling the track is worth it. It's better than nothing, and nothing is pretty much the only other option I feel here. Also, it's important to note that I left the stations behind and I left the bridges. I don't remember for sure with the bridges, but I'm pretty sure with the stations, they cost you money to get rid of. I'm only interested in reclaiming money here, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just swiping down the tracks, getting it, and you can see I got 1,000 there, 2,000 income there. There's another 1,000. So I just made 4,000 or 5,000, and that 4,000 or 5,000 is only a very small percentage towards the target, but it all adds up. Now, I didn't quite get to delete everything. Okay, so we're getting close now. I didn't quite get to delete everything. And actually, as you'll see in the fine closal moments, as we're getting that total up, you can see the bank balance is getting very close to that 1 million mark. Deleting the trains as they're coming. Those trains are still moving. We've got trains waiting in the depot, selling the trains that we need to, and then we pause the game because we've done it. Well, there we go, folks. Second was that time. That time was just a bit over first place at the time of recording and earned me second spot. In some ways, I am very happy with that because, well, you know, it's high up the board. I didn't know where I was going to be able to achieve. But also, to come second, to be so close to being actually at the top, oh, that's just a little frustrating, that is. Maybe if I had a 5th attempt, I would be able to grab that first place. I'm not sure. What do you think? Also, I had quite a lot of trains left over at the end of my run. I potentially could have started selling a little earlier on. Maybe cut another 30 seconds off my time. I'm not sure. Also, I spent 14 seconds deciding if I was going to play that particular map and actually do the run. So I could have shaved a bit of time there too. Obviously, not used to speedrunning and needs a bit more practice. But there we go. That's my attempt. You can, of course, have a go at it as well. And let me know down in the comments what you think of this. Do you want to see more speedruns? Do you want to see more challenges? What else do you want to see from me? Overall, I feel like it was quite good. But have a go yourself. See what time you get. Maybe submit it to speedrun.com. Maybe you'll beat me. Maybe you won't. Let's find out. It's a bit of fun, isn't it, eh? Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this challenge, and I will see you in the next video. Remember, like the video if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Let me know down in the comments how you think I can do better, and I will see you soon. Take care, thank you, and goodbye.